Hey guys, this is Anon, and I just wanted to pop in some quick gameplay of the brand new AC IV Sentinel, the second Australian tank that we have, and the father to the Sentinel 1. I've gotten a few games in it and started to get a feel for it a little bit, and had a nice game here to pick up my first ace, so just thought I would share it a bit here on Yamato Harbor, and just going to push through. This is I'll be totally honest, I'm not quite sure how I feel about this tank yet. I like certain parts of it, others I don't. It's got really nice mobility, especially compared to the original Sentinel, and I like the turret and gun depression. I feel like the gun trolls a bit, and the armor is only okay. But you know, and because there's so many great premiums at tier 6, it is something that's yeah, I don't know. I haven't decided how much I'm going to play it yet because the credits earning on it isn't particularly great. But it's kind of a nice, quirky collector tank that does have some fun, and it can hold up pretty well. It just the gun performs a little bit iffy at times, and that's my only complaint with it. But it does great here on a ridge line where you can use that gun depression, just like I'm doing here. Obviously, that armor is only so-so. As you can see, I got ripped apart by that leopard pretty quickly, but the leopard does have fantastic penetration. So just kind of part of it. My team is pretty spread out, as seems to be happening in low tiers quite a bit lately, so I'm just kind of working around and taking the shots that are in front of me. I know this is going to be a pretty tough battle. The low alpha on this gun means you're firing a lot of shots to do the damage, but it's not nearly as bad as the original AC that the alpha values on that tank are just kind of abysmal, and it feels like you're firing non-stop. So because I took the big hit early on, I'm just trying to be careful. Getting rid of that Cromwell is great. He was doing a good job of using his gun depression, but he kept rolling out and giving me some shots. I can see that MT-25 has rolled around and is working on the back of our guys, but I'm really holding the front kind of by myself at this point, so I don't want to go out too much. And so instead I decided to go ahead and take a few blind shots where that Flat Panzer was, just to be safe. I'm not sure if I'm hitting him or not, but that's a pretty dangerous tank in this situation. And if I roll out far enough to get this Churchill 7, I'm pretty exposed, and I'm afraid he's going to put some shots into me. So just making sure that the Flat Panzer doesn't stay there is going to give me more opportunity to go ahead and work on that Churchill a little bit. So as long as he gives me shots, I'm going to keep doing it, just rolling out and taking shots on him, trying to be as safe as possible. Hoping my teams will start to move up, because they're all kind of camped out behind me, and that's why I'm kind of peeking around wondering, you know, what's going to happen there. And I go ahead and let myself become unspotted, because I was hoping they would either start to push towards me and give me some opportunities, or would kind of work away from him. And so finally that Flat Panzer gets spotted, and it turns out I was doing a great job because he has quite a bit less health than he did last time I saw him, so those blind shots are great. But I'm worried he's going to put one into me here, so I'm just being really, really careful with it. I switched to APCR because that armor is a little bit troll, and you can see the accuracy here. It's really not too bad for a tier 6, but just getting a couple unlucky misses there, that's just RNG. But it makes him go ahead and move, which is fantastic. And so now I'm just, again, rolling forward. Last time I saw the Churchill, he was starting to move away. And so I go ahead and take advantage to go ahead and push. Now that the KV-1S is there, I'm hoping to get them in a little bit of a pincer situation, but I don't want to take a shot from that KV-1S because it would be very dangerous. Luckily I can catch this Flat Panzer before he runs away, and that lets me kind of rotate around and focus on these last 3 tanks, which all have a decent amount of health. So I'm going to have to be a little bit careful with it. Just kind of looking at who's going to give me shots first. Luckily the KV-1S does. And, you know, I really do think the accuracy on this gun is pretty fair. It's more that the lack of a vertical stabilizer makes it, and that's a huge bounce right there that you just saw. The lack of a vertical stabilizer makes it miss a lot on the move, but it's not, you know, it's fairly typical to not have that at tier 6, so it's just kind of a part of it. I do feel like it moves around extremely well. It may not have the biggest power to weight ratio, but you know, it's pretty agile, good traverse speed, really nice top speed. The Sentinel 1 really was pretty sluggish, but this gets up into those 40 and 50 kilometers an hour really, really quickly. So, you know, just one of those things. I didn't mean to nick him there and sacrifice some hit points, but either way, I wanted to make sure I got that kill. So, Now I can push on. I know exactly where the AT2 is, but that's a pretty dangerous tank, so that's why I'm going to go ahead and swing wide here. And again, you can see the nice mobility. It takes a little bit to get the acceleration up because of that lower power to weight. But once it gets moving, like you can see here, pretty good. I'm cruising close to 50 kilometers an hour. That's pretty quick, even for tier 6. I mean, that's up in Cromwell speed a little bit. There's only so many, especially mediums at this tier, that can move that quickly. So I think that's a pretty strong advantage, especially when you couple it with pretty solid traverse and a little bit of turret armor, definitely more turret armor than we're used to. For the tier, for a tank that moves this quick and along those lines. So since I missed that first shot, I'm switching to HE, and I just want to put one into a track so I can reset cap, and now it gives me plenty of time to work. After he goes ahead and fires, I was hoping that Leo, and he did, on my team that's still alive, kind of gets his attention, so this is going to let me go ahead and just kind of push straight through. That's a little bit of a lucky shot on the move, but I was just trying to get it. And again, you can see that nice closing speed. My number one thing I do like about this tank is definitely the mobility. So the mobility and gun depression is going to make it, I think, pretty fair to drive. I still think overall it's more of a collector's tank because the credits are only so on it. There's, I can think of 3 or 4 premiums at tier 6 that earn better just off the top of my head. So, but definitely a fun tank overall, and hopefully this helps a little bit. For you to decide whether it's something you want or not. I feel like at this tier that's really nice damage totals, and a steel wall. You're not going to get a lot of mediums with steel walls at this tier, even as a top tier tank. So enjoy this, subscribe on YouTube, and catch you later.